Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Makes here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. I tried to get some Chad Meers intro music going on in here, but I couldn't get it to play on my computer. That's very unfortunate. I was trying to intro to one of his songs, Amber.
I seen you struggling, but I was absolutely not going to say a word.
But
I was church mousing over here.
Have I played this song already on the show?
It's cool, so I'm vibing with it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited because we have a special guest joining us via Zoom, Mr. Chad Meers. Chad is a native of Shelby County, Kentucky, but has also spent years living in Guatemala and Charlotte, North Carolina. At the age of 14, Chad picked up a guitar for the first time and instantly fell in love. He quickly started learning songs by some of his songwriting heroes, such as Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, Jackson Browne, John Prine, and many more. This led to opportunities to play live with a band and as a solo act, and eventually from a career as a full-time gigging musician. Chad is now grateful to make a living playing music for weddings, corporate events, and other special occasions. I am now happy to be joined by Mr. Chad Meers. Chad, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are y'all doing?
Doing well. And I was telling Amber there, I tried to intro to some Chad Meers music, but unfortunately I couldn't get that to play up. But man, how you doing? Thank you for taking some time to chat with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you're from Shelby County. What's it like growing up there?
I grew up I grew up in a place called Cropper. I don't know if y'all have heard of Cropper. But I say Shelbyville because it's the nearest town. That's where Walmart was and all that. But I grew up on a farm.
I like that. I like that description. That's where Walmart was.
We do the same thing. We're from small towns, Knott County. Do you know where Knott County, Kentucky is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we never can say we're from Knott County because nobody's ever heard of that. So we're like, oh, we're from the county next to Hazard. Or it's like something weird like that. So we definitely feel you on that small town.
I do kind of the same thing. If I'm in a different state, I'll say I'm from Louisville just to make it easy. And then if I'm in Kentucky, I say from Shelbyville. But if I'm in Shelbyville, I'll say I'm from Cropper. So
Chad, you started making music at age 14. What even gave you the itch to want to pick up a guitar for the first time?
Yeah, my aunt had a guitar, this old Yamaha acoustic from the 60s. And I asked if I could borrow it. And, I'd been inspired. I grew up in church and been inspired seeing musicians in church play. And to be honest, I thought it would look good with girls to learn to play guitar.
You are 100% correct.
Just going to be completely honest about that. So that's why I started. But once I started learning songs and being able to express myself creatively, it became more than that. It became about the love of music.
Well, did it work with the ladies?
I don't think so. I did my best, but nah, I don't think so.
So does music come easy for you? Is this just something that you've always had in your blood? Was you always around it?
Yeah, none of my family played an instrument or anything like that. I didn't grow up around it. Once I just took an interest in guitar. I struggled at first, but like anyone, you develop the calluses playing guitar and you learn the songs and you learn the scales and all that stuff. But once you get through that period, you really just love music. And I don't know, like I said, my parents didn't play music. My aunt that I borrowed the guitar from didn't learn guitar or anything like that. But I guess once I learned the basics, it became pretty easy.
And I know also, too, that you write a lot of your songs. You sing, you do covers of songs, but you also write your own songs. You have some originals. For me, writing a song is pretty tough. Where do you get your inspiration to write your lyrics?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest things as a musician. And it takes the longest, too. Like some songs I'll write and it takes 6 months to finish, or I've had songs where it has taken me 3 years to finish. And one of the songs on my record, it took like 5 minutes to finish. So it just depends on the song. But just being completely honest, I don't know if artists are supposed to say this, but I just listen to a song that I like by another artist, like Tom Petty or Bruce Springsteen or someone like that, and draw inspiration from a song that I love and say, how can I adapt that main idea? Whether it's a melody, a lyric, or whatever it may be, I'll kind of rip people off, to be honest, and try to make it my own. I don't completely plagiarize or copy people, but try to make it my own, but definitely draw inspiration. It doesn't just come out of nowhere, to be honest.
No, I completely agree with that kind of frame of mind. I also am a college professor. I teach speech, and I tell my students to watch other people give great speeches and don't absolutely copy them and just be a carbon copy of how they are, but just get inspiration from them. Watch their movements, their gestures, and put your own pizzazz on it. So that's kind of what you do, and exactly. I'm the same way with even radio. So that's pretty cool. So you released an album, and this is your first album, and you released it the first of the month. What can people expect when they listen to this album?
And when I made this album, I wanted to have like a cohesive group of songs. I wanted it to all make sense, and I want it to be an album. You know, the big thing now in music industry is releasing singles. You know, an artist, especially brand new like myself, you release one song at a time. You try to build a following, release the next song and then the next song. But, you know, I tried to do that at first with a few songs on this album, but I really just wanted to release a group of work, and I have 10 songs. To me, this album is a great road trip record. I think you turn on the first song and it just immediately takes you to a place where it's an open road.
Yes.
You know, you have this optimistic road trip, and then you kind of go through life, you go through things, and each song talks about the road or traveling in some aspect. So I think it's a great road trip record. If you're just going to the grocery store or going on vacation or whatever, I think turn it on and listen to the whole thing. But yeah, as far as a sound goes, I draw inspiration from people like you mentioned, Tom Petty. He's a big inspiration. But I think my sound it's rock, country. There's some Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, but there's good storytelling as well. And I look to people like John Prine and Jason Isbell, one of the modern day songwriting heroes of mine. So yeah, some songs are slower with thought out lyrics, and some songs are just fun, you know, just to turn up full volume and jam out to.
Do you have any plans of doing a tour of your original music?
Yeah, I'd love to. You know, starting out, you just take what opportunities are given to you. So really, if I want to play a show, I kind of have to book it.
Yeah.
So people aren't asking me right now to come play shows or to go on tour or open up. But yeah, I'm definitely hustling and trying to reach out to other artists and say I'm available to open up for you, and reaching out to different venues and saying, hey, check out my music. So it's kind of a hustle at first, but you know, it's something that I love to do. I make a living playing covers, as you mentioned, for weddings and private events and things like that. So I do get to play music out live, but most of the time people want to hear covers, kind of background music and dinner music. But yeah, I'd love to get out and do open mics and things like that. So hopefully some of that stuff's in the future.
Let's talk about your latest single, The Commonwealth, that we will be playing very shortly. We all have our own interpretations of songs, so I always like to ask the artists themselves, what is this song about and why did you write it?
Yeah, of course. So I wrote the song when I was about 17 or 18. I had just come off of a mission trip with my church and youth group. We went to New Orleans, and this was right after Katrina. So we did a service trip with our church, and I went down there and just kind of fell in love with the city, fell in love with the culture.
It's
and
easy
I'm kind of that way when I go to, yeah, exactly. When I go to a new place, if it's charming like New Orleans or some of these other places, then I just immediately fall in love. So the song is about traveling to places like New Orleans or California and falling in love with the culture, the people there, and kind of thinking, should I live here one day or should I move here? And then drawing comparisons to Kentucky, and then coming back home to Kentucky and saying, you know what, we don't have this type of culture, but we have our own culture. So one of the lyrics, the song starts, down on the bayou where the riverboats row, I fell in love with the city's golden soul. And then it goes to talk about how we have our own riverboats, but ours sink. And so there's a bit of this like love-hate relationship with the place where you're from. So it's not as charming, some of these aspects of, being from Kentucky, but it's a place that you're always connected to and you always love.
So I can tell your passion and love for Kentucky. It comes through in your interview. Would you be interested, Chad, in coming into the studio and performing a few ballads off your album?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I can't get people on the radio. Amber, how long have I been trying to get people to come in and just take a guitar and just stream and sing? People won't. They're scared. I'm like, guys, you can't do that and be scared to perform live. You can't do that. But Amber, am I lying?
Well, I don't think that everybody grew up like us having to do all these talent shows and whatnot, getting in front of everybody.
Gosh.
So
yes, but Chad, so you'd be willing to do that, is what you're saying?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Well, absolutely. Well, tell the audience where we can find your music and how can people connect with you on social media.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing is if you're going to go to one stop, it's my website, chadmeersmusic.com. Meers is spelled Meers, chadmeersmusic.com. But I try to make my music easy to find. It's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. You can purchase the CD on my website. So hopefully that's easy to find for you. You can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram. The name is the same. It's Chad Meers Music. So Chad Meers Music on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, Chad. Well, we're going to play one of the single that we were talking about, the Commonwealth, as our song of the week. Chad, thank you for taking time out today to speak with us.
Of course. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Chad.
And we're going to hold you to it to come back in, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Chad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, off his new album, this is his song, The Commonwealth. This will be Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. Roll down them windows, and we'll be right back after the song.